Hey, peace and blessings to you. My name is Jerry B. I am the EntreMusician, and so are you. Welcome to another exciting episode of the EntreMusician Podcast. This is the space where we concentrate on the mindset, the discipline, and the focus of the EntreMusician. Today's episode, absolutely no exception, because today we're going to be focusing on a brand new streaming platform. Now, you know me, I'm all for musicians getting paid. And just about 2 months or so ago, this gentleman who I'm going to introduce you to, Tim Quirk, he came to the EntreMusician community, let us kind of poke the bear a little bit and find out about this new great streaming platform he has called Tapedeck. Tim, welcome to the podcast, bro. How you doing, man?
I'm good. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I think that on the night that we were on with the community, we asked just about as many questions as we could possibly ask you. So I want to begin by thanking you for your patience, man. Thank you very much.
My pleasure.
But now you have to do it all over again because these people did not see that conversation. Could you tell us in a nutshell what Tapedeck is and how is it going to benefit little musicians like myself?
Sure. The quickest way to describe it is it's a Bandcamp that also monetizes streaming. So it's a digital download store and streaming service where licensors get to set their own prices for streaming, for per play rates, as well as for downloads. So if you think your songs are worth 5 cents a play, you can set them to be 5 cents a play. You can set them to be 10 cents a play. The floor is a penny per play. We won't go lower than that. And it's designed to be as transparent and as simple to understand as possible. And then the other piece of it is that we use a lot of gaming mechanics. So we have an offer wall with virtual currency, so that users have the ability to we call our virtual currency plays. So you can acquire plays for free by watching rewarded videos or redeeming partner offers. I got like 14,000 plays just by playing Scrabble and Yahtzee for a month, which I was doing anyway. So there are games that will pay you for your attention because they're making more than they pay you from the ads. So if you want to just buy packs of plays, you can do it for $1 or $5 or $10 or $50. But if you don't want to spend money as a user, if you're a college student or even a high school student, you don't have a lot of extra cash, you can just watch rewarded videos or redeem partner offers. We give everybody right now we're anyone who sets up a new account gets 50 free plays, and we subsidize those. So the artist gets paid from the very first stream.
Boy, that was a lot in a nutshell there. I can tell you've been telling this story a lot, but can you tell me the backstory? You had a great backstory with how you started in tech and who you were working for. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Sure. Well, I started as a musician. So my band self-released our first album. The band was called Too Much Joy. Self-released our first album, Green Eggs and Crack, in 1987. That got us picked up by an indie label in San Francisco called Alias Records. So we made a record for them. Then Warner Brothers liked that. They acquired that record, and we made a couple more for them through the 90s. And then the band never officially broke up. We're still recording and touring today. But towards the late 90s, we realized it wasn't going to pay our rent. Once we were no longer on Warner Brothers, it wasn't necessarily going to pay the rent, let alone put our kids through college. So we all got day jobs. I got swept up in the dot-com boom here in the San Francisco Bay Area in 1999. I went to work for a company called Listen.com. And we eventually built and launched Rhapsody, which was one of the first on-demand music streaming services. So we were paying a penny per play back then. And in 1999, when I sort of got swept up in the tech world, it became clear to me pretty quickly that we were going to stop buying music in round plastic discs, and music was going to become a service where we hopefully paid to listen to whatever we wanted whenever we wanted. And then a few years later, when smartphones came around, we could add wherever you were to that. So I knew that was the future. And as a guy who was in what was basically a cult band, I love the idea of being paid based on how much people liked you rather than how many people liked you, because we didn't have a ton of fans, but the ones we had were super dedicated. They'd like charter flights to see us and follow us around from town to town and, overpay us for our stuff. And that seemed like that was going to be the future that streaming enabled. It was going to be easier to make a living making music if you were like a middle class musician or a semi-pro. And it didn't turn out that way. Turns out that if you aggregate copyrights, if you're a major label or a digital distributor, you can make a killing in the streaming business, getting fractions of pennies a play if you have hundreds of thousands or even millions of copyrights. But if you're just an individual artist or a lone band, it's hard to make ends meet with streaming royalties. And the fact that Spotify can just announce by decree that they're not paying for the first 1,000 plays of any song, it's absolutely ridiculous. So I've been a bit dismayed by how the streaming world and the economics of it have developed, and I felt a little regretful that I was such a Pollyanna and sort of Candide-like about it in 1999 and 2000, because I used to, go to South by Southwest and do music seminar and sit on panels and talk about the future. I was telling everyone how great it was going to be, and it hasn't turned out that way. So this is my attempt to do what I can to right those wrongs. I don't think there's any reason that a penny per play shouldn't be the floor rather than the ceiling when it comes to streaming royalties. And our fairly ambitious goal is to make that a reality. It's going to take a couple of years. We're starting, with a limited catalog because we're not going after major labels at this point. So we're going after indie acts, folks, ideally folks who control their own masters and their own publishing. It's not a requirement, but it makes it a lot easier to do deals with them. So we're targeting this service. We're not trying to compete with Spotify. We're not saying this is a mainstream music service for you and your grandma. It's for diehard music fans who understand that the musicians they love are struggling to make a living. So we're marketing to them. We're sort of positioning it as a music discovery service while we're still building out the catalog. So if you open it up and you search for something and we don't have it, we will recommend other things we do have based on what you search for, things of that nature. So it's going to take some time, but I have every confidence this will work because, this is a company, this is a product released by Zedge, the company I work for now. Zedge acquired a startup that I founded called Freeform Development, which I founded in 2014, that was basically using the same model as we were launching individual artist apps. And we were seeing per play rates with this model between 5 cents and 13 cents a play. So I know it can work.
You had mentioned before concerning playing games, Yahtzee and whatnot. How does that figure into the experience? Because if we are attracting cult band status where, I'm really into this band, do you have to play the game? I mean, is that tied into the architecture or what happens there?
You don't have to. You don't have to do anything. It's all about artist choice and user choice. So as a user, you open the app, you install the app, and boom, you can play 50 songs for free, without taking any other action. And we're paying for that. We're paying the artists all the royalties they need for all your free plays. Then when you run out of free plays, you need some more, you have a choice. You can just watch some ads. Every ad you watch will earn you 10 free plays. You can buy plays. You can buy them, for two. You can buy a pack for $1 or $2, or it depends on the country you're in and the currency conversion. But it's basically like $1, $5, $10, $20, $50. But if you don't want to spend money and you're sick of watching ads, or you need to get a bunch more credits right away because there's a particular album you want to acquire, we have an offer wall, just like mobile games do, and you can scroll through it until you find something you want. It could be getting an insurance quote for your car or your house. That might pay you like $50. So you'd get $50 worth of plays, which I believe is 5,000 plays. It might be, like I said, I installed Yahtzee and Scrabble, 2 games I play anyway. But when I installed them through Tapedeck, every minute that I played got me 3 minutes of free music. And then there was another game I installed called Rise of Kingdoms, which was, that earned me like $100 worth of plays because I got addicted to the game and I was just playing it all the time anyway. But if you don't want to do that, you don't have to. You can just buy a pack of plays.
I see. Very good. So the only thing that I didn't understand there, so you got to talk to me because I'm a drummer. Okay. So you say it again in the sense of plays and minutes. So you're buying minutes.
No, you are acquiring plays. So but what I was saying was the deal that Yahtzee and Scrabble had was those gaming companies, for every minute of the game that you played, they would give you 1 free play. So basically 1 free play on average equals about 3 minutes of music. Okay. So every minute of Yahtzee was turning into, for me, 3 minutes of music. I loved it because I play like an hour of Yahtzee a day anyway. So I was getting, 3 hours of music.
Gotcha. Because see, I'm a jazz guy, and so the song
Oh,
really
okay. So for
starts
you, it's like
at 11 minutes in. I mean,
okay.
where they're not going to get to hear the rest of the song. Where,
I'm sorry, I was being ethnocentric from my pop music base.
there you go. There
My
you go.
world
Yeah.
drums.
But no, we don't start really getting into it until everybody's warmed up, and you warm up on tape, okay?
Yep, yep.
So so that's what's happening. But now tell me about the technical end of it, and I'm talking about hands-on, Tim, where you put your instrument down and you were actually designing the software, writing the code. I mean, that's all you, or are you working with
No,
a
no,
big
we have
team of people?
I'm an executive at Zed, so basically I come up with crazy ideas and then I talk to our software development engineers and I'm a product manager essentially.
I
So
see.
I don't do the actual coding myself, but I hire the coders and I give them the vision, and together with a product designer, who will make the user experience as intuitive as possible. So there's a team of, I'd say like 10 people who basically built this app.
I gotcha. I got you. Okay, so now you can walk us through Jerry the drummer coming on to Tape Deck. I'm new to this. What do I want to do in order to upload my music, turn my music over? What type of digital e-signatures are you requiring of me?
All right. So to start with, we're striking license deals with most of the major digital distributors. So if your music is already in Spotify, basically however you got it there, whether it was through CD Baby or The Orchard, or TuneCore, one of those guys, or DistroKid, one of those. If they're not already part of Tape Deck, just call them up and say, "Hey, I want my music in Tape Deck. Why haven't you done a deal with Tape Deck yet?" We are working on a upload tool because some of the digital distributors, they're going to take longer to negotiate the license than is ideal. And if musicians start getting impatient, we want them to have a way to inject their music directly in the system. But that'll be available sometime early next year, I hope.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. And so then what has been your response from early adopters, the band? I'm sure you used your own band as a
Oh
test
yeah,
market, but what about other bands or other artists?
artists love it. I should also mention we just today are launching an affiliate program where, in addition to all the royalties you can make from Tape Deck, we will pay you. We will basically, if you're willing to like post about the fact that your music is available in Tape Deck on your own social media sites, we'll give you custom links with UTM codes so we can attribute any install that comes from you, and we will basically pay artists or labels or anyone who's using these links $1 per install. So basically, before anyone even starts generating royalties from your music in Tape Deck, you can get paid by Tape Deck.
Excellent. And if I'm understanding you correctly, I believe there's no monthly subscription and whatnot. Once you download, that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right there.
Subscriptions might come later, or we might set up a subscription where we're swiping your credit card and just giving you a set number of plays per month. But negotiating subscription terms with digital distributors, particularly with major labels, they tend to have a habit to come up with these formulas, which is heads we win, tails you lose. When I was working at Rhapsody, the basically there were 3 different calculations that you had to do at the end of every month. There was a per play rate, there was a percentage of revenue, and then there was one other that gets really complicated. And basically, you run all 3 formulas for each label that had the market power to negotiate these clauses, and then whichever one paid out the most, that's what you owed them that month.
Ah,
So we're a small company, but we are publicly traded. So it's not like we have a bunch of, not like we're venture capital funded and can just go blow $20 million without a definite return on that investment.
absolutely.
So our board of directors has given me a limited budget to test this out on a pilot basis. So we launched it at the end of September. So we knew we had till the end of 2025. Good news is the initial results were encouraging enough that we got our life extended, so now we will be continuing to develop it into 2026.
So, what type of subscriber platforms or levels do you think would benefit not the artist, because I know the artist is getting paid already, but the person who comes on for the experience?
We'll let them
Can you
tell
share
themselves.
that? Am I asking for industry
You can
secrets? Because that's not what
you can
I'm.
ask anything you want. We do a lot of user research, with surveys, with sit-down interviews. And because we were targeting, music heads who basically people who were already using Bandcamp, and we talked to them about what they would do if they knew, like what hoops they were willing to jump through if they knew the money was going directly to artists. And it was amazing. Like there were, in product management circles, it's called friction. If someone wants to play a song and there's some action they have to take before they can do it, that's friction. And so we were testing like how much friction these people would stand before they gave up and said, no, I'm just going to hit play on Spotify. And it was amazing. The cohort of music fans that we are gearing Tapedeck to initially, they're willing to deal with massive friction if they know that it's going to pay the artist. So basically, we're just letting them guide us. So right now, the hoops are just watch a rewarded video, buy some plays, or redeem a partner offer. In the future, we may add in subscription tiers and other things like that, but it depends entirely on what users ask for and what they want.
So can the artist start out with just one selection, sort of to kick the tires, or is there a limit?
Artists can upload anything they want. They can take it down whenever they want. They can price it however they want. They can change the prices whenever they want. It's all about artist control.
Excellent. So what do you think about AI music coming into the Tapedeck platform? Is there a stickler on that? I mean, because now that's the that's the new dribble, right?
My feelings on this are complicated, right? I mean, because I've been in tech for a quarter century now, right? So not quite half my life, but a hefty percentage of it.
Significant, right?
Yeah, I've been dismayed by, there's sort of this Manichaean worldview that social media enforces, particularly if you're on left-leaning platforms like Blue Sky, where something is either 100% good or 100% bad. And nothing is like that. Your favorite artist is probably a terrible person in some aspects of their life, right?
Yeah.
So
I know I am. Let's just
I try not to be, but I don't live up to my ideals all the time. So basically, to me, AI is a tool, right? It's like getting mad at AI is like getting mad at hammers, right? There are good ways to use hammers and there are bad ways to use hammers. If you bang someone over the head with a hammer, that's a bad use of a hammer. That's unethical, immoral, should be against the law. Don't do it. So any AI company that trained on data that they didn't have the rights to, that's unethical. If you train your model on data that you're actually paying for the privilege, I found just as an artist, I use AI not to write my songs, but now when my partner and I are writing, we record just onto our iPhone, a 3-minute version of us just singing with an acoustic guitar or a piano, and then we feed that into Suno and say okay, let's hear a country arrangement, let's hear a hardcore arrangement. Let's hear this with gospel vocals. And so it's basically a really fast way of testing out various possibilities for a song when, free, nearly free. So you don't have to go in the studio, spend hours with session musicians, seeing if something works or not, or even just with your friends. It saves you so much time. So to me, I don't hate AI. I think all the claims about, the amazing things that it can do are just stupid hype, and we're absolutely living in an economic bubble, so everyone's going to hate AI even more than they already do when the economy crashes. But over the long term, I think people are going to find, just like I remember in the 90s when I first went to work for Listen.com in 1999. If you think about it, way back then, mobile phones did not have the market penetration that they have now. So pretty much in San Francisco, if you saw someone walking down the sidewalk talking into a mobile phone, pretty sure they were in finance. They had more money than you. And so there were these viral videos that were going around at the time of these activists. Anytime they saw someone with a mobile phone, they would film themselves. They had one guy in a gorilla outfit, and the gorilla would run over, grab the mobile phone out of the guy's hand, throw it on the ground, and stomp up and down on it. Wow. And back in 1999, everybody was cheering. Everybody, my friends, were cheering for this, right? Because they're like, yeah, those finance guys, those rich bros. And you look at it now, it's like, that's a crime. You took somebody's expensive piece of property and you killed it. Absolutely. And everybody and their grandmother has a mobile phone and talks into it on the street. So I think you'll see something like that happen with AI. I felt the same way about NFTs. The hype was ridiculous, but as a tool for having exclusive digital content, I thought it was a wonderful tool for musicians to use. I feel the same way about AI. If you're using AI to write your stuff, my personal opinion, that's not using the tool the right way. But if you use it to create, weird angelic background vocals that humans can't do, that's no different than using a plugin, and just twisting the
Sure.
knobs a bit.
Sure.
So we don't have a strict no AI music rule, but
Okay.
we are deliberately, as we sign deals with different digital distributors, we do ask them to if anything that they know is completely AI made. I don't necessarily want that in the system, but I won't say no AI can touch your music, because I've released music with like AI generated background vocals.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah, that's important to know on the front end. I'm a little bit more of a purist, but this is not about me. But I've heard that there are platforms that are coming up that's saying no. I mean, there are sync agencies that are going no to AI completely. Out. So with the new artists coming on to Tapedeck, I just wanted to know and
Yeah, I would say
wanted people to know.
if you did nothing to create the music except type a prompt in, we don't want it. But if you used AI to help you write it, to help you work out different arrangements, or even to generate some of the instruments that you can't play yourself, I'm okay with that.
Excellent. Off of the beaten path a little bit, I think I'm getting a little more keen to a song that is generated by AI than I used to. What do you think? I know it's going to get better, but has that been your experience as well? That there's something that's happening there in the vocal or in the
Yeah,
timing
yeah.
that you go,
It's like it's like looking at the fingers, in an image and to see if it's AI. To me, I mean, for the first year, it all sucked. Like, it was terrible. It's my job to test out every new AI engine that there is, that's generating sounds. So I listened to it all, and I was just like, oh my God, this is embarrassing. I can't believe they released it. They're getting better, but there's still this uncanny valley thing. And as you said, to me, it's mostly in the vocals. There's just this
sure.
breathy feeling it vocal, whether it's a man or a woman, that just sounds like somebody trying too hard at an open mic night, basically.
It's a very good description. Absolutely. So tell me a little bit more about Tape Deck that you haven't told me yet, but you thought Jerry's definitely going to ask me this question. I haven't answered. I haven't asked it.
Oh, well, a feature that I haven't mentioned is I have mentioned that the penny is the floor for streaming, but basically any price you enter for download of a track, a download of an album, they're all floors, not ceilings, because we give users multiple different ways to pay you more than you're asking for. So they always have to pay you at least what you're asking for. But there's a really nifty feature where when you're buying a track or an album, you have to type in the price that you want. And there's the price the artist is asking. You have to type in at least that much, but there's also a 2x, 3x, and like 5x button. So if you want to pay them 5x what they're asking for, you just hit that button and boom, we use your virtual currency. We deduct it from your account. We pay the artist, a penny per play, basically.
Absolutely. Okay, so you haven't started on the upload device yourself. So right now, the artist still has to go through their aggregator in order to get on Tape Deck. When do you think that upload that we can go direct to you will be in place?
Early 26. I don't want to put a date on it, because then if I say March 31st and it winds up being April 5th, and it just looks late. So there's the even when I was working at Google, this was an issue. Google had theoretically unlimited cash and unlimited manpower, but there's always a longer list of things you want to do than resources you have to do it with when you're building products. So Zedge is not in anything like Google's position. We have to make a lot more and frequent and harder choices. But we have a long list for Tapedeck that the upload is part of it. Fancy dashboards so you can see how your stuff is performing in real time. We still haven't built those, so there's a whole lot. We barely have playlisting in the app, right? We just launched playlists that you can, we can curate a playlist and put it in the app and you can play it, but we don't yet have the ability for users to do that. So all of these things, will be coming. I think we've released at least a dozen versions of the app since September 25th. So like every day or 2 days or 3 days, there's a new feature rolling out.
Interesting. So what do you think about the aggregators themselves? Here's another question that's a little bit off the beaten path, but you've been in the industry long enough to know. with respect to them being the gatekeepers of how you get your music onto the Apple or Spotify, the bigger platforms, I mean, is that going to go by the wayside? Because I think that you should be Spotify and Apple notwithstanding, but you should be able to talk to a Tim Quirk or talk to a Tapedeck and go, yeah, it's me and you. And it's just like loading music up on your website. And if you do a good enough job of bringing people to your website to download it or stream it, then you've cut out, that extra layer. What do you think about the aggregators, the CD babies, the TuneCores that you've mentioned?
I mean,
What do you think the future is going to be for them?
I think they provide a valuable service. I will tell you. So, my digital distributor for my own music is the Orchard. But I only wound up with the Orchard because they acquired the original one I signed up with, which was called IOTA, Independent Online Distribution Alliance. They were actually the first digital distributor there was. It was founded by a former colleague of mine from Rhapsody named Kevin Arnold. And I actually invested in, I think it was the first investment in the startup I ever made. When he told me what he was doing, I just got it. I was like, oh my God, that's so necessary. And I knew he was he's a big music fan. He puts on the Noise Pop Festival in San Francisco and the Treasure Island Music Festival. For years he was doing that. So he's a technologist who also gets music. So I knew he was going to do a good job. And very interestingly, so I was happy to give him, I think it was like 10% of whatever my digital royalties were in order to get me in more places than I could have managed myself. Because I still have to upload every track one to Bandcamp myself because the Orchard doesn't, because Bandcamp hasn't struck the deals with digital distributors, and it's a pain in my butt. I would rather upload it once to one place and get it in all the services across the globe, including ones I've never heard of and wouldn't know to upload it to in the first place. And I'll tell you an interesting story. I was on a panel one time with Kevin Arnold and with the guy who founded TuneCore. I remember this was in Park City in Utah, and the guy who founded TuneCore, it was literally. It was how he launched TuneCore, was at this conference, and it was fine. His model was different than IOTA's was. He wasn't taking a recurring percentage of your royalties. he was setting up a one-time fee, so you pay once and then you get 100% of your royalties after that, which is fine. It's like there should be a multiplicity of models so artists can choose the one that works best for them. But it really rubbed me the wrong way because as he was announcing it, he was insisting that what Kevin Arnold and what other digital distributors were doing was unethical. And there was no reason for you to pay them a recurring percentage of your revenue. And I was like, dude, I know Kevin Arnold. Like, don't slander him like that. There's nothing unethical about it. And so I looked at him, I said, here's what this guy is not telling you about TuneCore. He's betting on you losing. He is betting that he's going to make more money from that $90 fee or whatever it was he was charging at the time than he would over the course of your career, because he knows he's going to get all the baby bands, all the starting musicians, who don't have a lot of money and just want to pay a one-time fee. He's going to get all of them, and that's what he's building his business on. And I'm not saying he's unethical to do it. Like, a lot of people might prefer to pay a one-time fee rather than an ongoing percentage of revenue. But there's something ethically questionable about the way he's presenting it to you, because he's leaving out this fact that he's betting on your lack of success rather than your success. So to me, I've always valued digital distributors. I'm not so thrilled with the Orchard these days, just because it's part of Sony now, and I would have preferred to stay independent.
Right.
But I think they will always provide a service. And I got to say, as a guy going out and licensing music, it's way easier to get 1 million or 10 million or 50 million tracks from one entity than it is from 50 million individual entities. That's a lot of administrative burden for a company to handle.
Yeah, I didn't think about that portion of it. I just thought about me, again, being more of a boutique artist, and wanting to have some exclusivity. But yeah, the regular pop, rock, R&B, boom, 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 just to bang it out. I'm only dealing with one company and they can deal with 1,000 others. I can see that. I can see
but
how that works.
any digital distributor, just like any DSP, they have to have robust artist tools. They have to have a way, as you said, they have to have a way, even if you can't personally be talking to me at Tapedeck through your distributor, they should have somebody who's bugging me every week and saying, hey, these are our priority releases. across every genre. And if we do a deal with a distributor and they don't have something like that set up, I harangue them until they tell me, until they create one, because I want to know what's you're sending me 30,000 tracks a week. Tell me which are the 300 most important.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's absolutely on point. I'm a huge fan of Derek Sivers. I mean, I started CD Baby way back in the day when he was running the thing, and it was just a garage and a half after that, But things have changed, and systems have changed. So, I thought that was a question off the beaten path. But I am so grateful, really, that you took an opportunity on me twice, bro. Thank you, man. With the community and then
here. I
here.
want as many people as possible to know what we're up to.
Well, I certainly appreciate it, and I think that I'm gonna wait till March or April or whenever that late date is,
Okay.
and try you on for size. How many jazz artists do you know right off the bat? I mean, I'm asking you about thousands of songs, but do you
Yeah,
have
I mean,
many
I
jazz
don't
artists
have a count, but I know it's a decent catalog. We have some names in there that you would expect, and then, but I get the priority releases lists from all our licensors every week, and I was just putting a bunch of jazz albums in there on last week on Friday.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, I'm definitely going to download the app, and I would advise you, my friend, to download the app as well. And let's try it out, man. This, it's all about taking the next step to better your career. And I'm so grateful to you, Tim, for coming on, man, and helping us to know that there is another option out there. This is Tim Quirk from Tapedeck, man. Peace and blessings to you, brother.
All right. Thank you kindly.
Absolutely. That's going to do it for another episode of the EntreMusician Podcast. Again, Tim Quirk, Tapedeck. Write it down. Go check them out and see what they can do for you and your career. If you want to get in touch with us, just go to the EntreMusician.com. And as always, like, subscribe, share, love, the whole deal. Share it with everybody you know and about 10 people you don't know, and let them understand that you get down with the EntreMusician. My name is Jerry B. I am the EntreMusician, but what's most important is so are you. We'll see you again next time. God bless.